guys, welcome back. So today is super exciting because we are actually going to be painting today. And I know a lot of people don't end up painting their vans because they have white ones or that they like a different color or go get them professionally painted. But for me, this van already has a lot of different areas that already look a little sketchy, and I feel like if I'm already going back to living in a vehicle, I want to be as unnoticeable as possible. And with all of the different imperfections on this van, I've already noticed a lot of people staring. It does look a little sketchy, and so I think for my safety and for Pippa's safety, painting it white would be our best option right now, even if it doesn't turn out super great since we're doing it ourselves and we're doing it outside. I just figured that this was the best way to obviously get it a lighter color to help with the heat. Obviously, traveling with the weather doesn't eliminate the heat from the sun all of the time. And also, I've had two black vehicles now that I've traveled in. You guys have seen me in the Honda Pilot and in my original Honda CR-V that I traveled in for the longest amount of time. And I know what it's like to be in a dark vehicle in the summer. Even when you go up in elevation, it gets really hot during the day. So we're gonna try to prevent that from the beginning with this. So we are going to be spray painting it, but with a spray gun. We have not practiced with it yet or done anything, and this is definitely not a how-to video, but I'm not going to be going through a step-by-step on how to sand your van, how to paint your van. I am more focused on actually getting the project done and usable, since it is something that I have to be using right away, and less so focused on teaching you guys how to do it since it's my first time too. So I don't know why I would pretend to be the expert on this since it's the first time I've ever done it. We did get something interesting to sand, and I'm going to show you. Right here, we found this at Harbor Freight. If I can find it for you guys, I will link it in my description box like always so you guys can find it. But we just tested a little test patch for this, and this is going to make all of this go so much faster than an orbital sander that we're just using Rust-Oleum oil-based white. We just use high gloss, and I didn't buy anything automotive specific. I'm just going with that because I originally was thinking about painting the van a different color altogether, but to get a base white I think will help just in general, since I didn't want to have to make a decision right away about which color I wanted. So starting with white is going to be the easiest, and if it doesn't work, I already have in mind the next color that I want, and so if we have to go back and, you know, touch up some things, it's not that big of a deal. Here we go. Okay, so obviously we just got done sanding the side of the van, but as we were using this tool, we really wanted to be able to see the difference between each grit. So this one's 40, 120, and 240 down at the end. And we are gonna do a test coat of paint just to obviously see how the paint is working, but we wanna see if it's worth the extra work to get all the way to that 240, because touching there's a big difference between here and here, but then between these two, it's just smoother. I'm not sure it'll actually show up on the paint. So before we do the entire van and make a bunch of work out of it, we're just gonna test it out. So you get to come along with our test run with the surface conditioning tool. There you go. All powered by solar. Okay, so it is the next day after we painted last night. I'm gonna show you everything and how it looks. Obviously, we were trying to test those 3 panels, but I'm gonna be honest, the paint went on way thicker than either of us expected. We've already been sanding again this morning. So there is no difference, but I'm gonna show you what it looks like. Okay, so here is that 3 panel. These were like where the marks were. Obviously, we took off the tape like in between because if it worked out, we wanted to leave it so we didn't have to repaint those strips. But I think on camera it looks actually way better than it does in person, which I'm not mad at. But if you get really close, it went on very much like a foam roller. So we've got a lot of these like little splotches. So I think what we're gonna do is we just finished sanding the rest of the van. Doing this entire part of the van took less than maybe 3 minutes to do. It was super fast, but it didn't turn out quite as smooth. I'm gonna go back obviously and resand this and go back over it with the fine mist. But yeah, we're just waiting to see. So that is pretty much the update. So it looks kind of crazy right now because it's like half done and I only have now 1 panel of the van painted, but it's gonna look really nice once it's done. And a lot of body work apparently on this van that I did not know about, and I don't even think the previous owners knew about it. But yeah, all of this is done. We just literally stopped just now to take a break this morning. And yeah, so here's the close-up of the hood I did earlier. It looks rougher than it actually is, but we're definitely getting somewhere. So there's the update. It looks even scarier than before. Good morning. So today we are doing another paint update. This will obviously be probably in the same video for you guys, but the last thing I think you saw was that we did like the sections on the van to see if the sanding mattered, and we found out that it didn't, but we didn't love the finish of how that came out. But to save a little bit of time and the fact that we're kind of in a spot where we can get some of this done before we have to move later this week, we are going to do one more thick coat on everything. So we're literally up before like the sun is even all the way up to put that coat on, because the road that we're on is really dusty. So before people start driving by, and then we're going to let that cure and sit, and then we'll do some finishing work to make it look more glossy and fine in the future. But we've decided, since the sanding on the actual surface of the van doesn't seem to matter that much, we're going to just put a thick coat of paint down and let that dry, because I've also been driving the van around with everything looking a little scary. So we're gonna stop doing that. But yeah, I'll show you everything of what we have right now. Okay, so this is the van. It's looking very interesting on camera now that I'm seeing it. Oh, I can zoom out for you. So yeah, so we are taping everything off again to be able to just really quick spray everything. That paint sprayer is great. You can literally spray. We'll probably get the whole van sprayed in like less than 15 minutes. But it's all this prep work that obviously makes a difference, because there's a ton of overspray, and we found that out from last time. So this is all sanded down nice and smooth, but it's not perfect. So that's where we're gonna just put a thick coat on, so then we can not have to do so much work on the actual metal itself, and more so just on the paint as it dries. So yeah, this is kind of what it's looking like. I'll show you everything once it's fully taped off, but yay! I'm gonna have a white van soon. So this is how the van looks now. We finished this coat of paint in real time about like 4.5, almost 5 weeks ago now, which is kind of a long time, but it has held up super well. I've run it through the car wash a few times. There are definitely some spots where there's imperfections and things that I've scratched because I've set like Pippa's ramp and stuff against the side of the van. Obviously driving through the desert and stuff, there's cactus, there's little trees that hang over service roads and stuff. So it's not like I have taken super great care of it because we know that we're going to go back and finish it. So right now, as it stands in real time, the van is just white. I have not done anything to it since this video. I will make a second part when we decide to do more to the paint, but we just have not had time with everything else going on and finishing the rest of the build. So the fact that it's just white and it's not perfect obviously might be good enough for some people. It's good enough for me, at least for probably the entire summer. I'll probably just keep it this way. I am planning on picking a different color though for like the final color of the van, but I think I'm going to get that done in automotive paint. There are a few places in the area that I know I'll be back here in the winter that make custom paint for cars because they do a lot of like vintage car restoration and stuff like that. So I'm kind of excited about going in and talking to them and getting like the exact color I want. But like I said, if I update anything in between, I will give you guys an update. But right now it is just white. It's just plain and it doesn't look terrible, but it's way, way, way better than the blue. And it's obviously much, much cooler. And so yeah, so like I said, we're not professionals. This is the first time we've ever done it, but honestly, I'm super impressed with how it came out. And the next time we do it, we'll do it with the fine mist that comes with that paint set. And yeah, that's pretty much it. I will see you guys on the next one. Bye.